From the fiery depths of Hades to the heights of Mount Olympus, the weapons of Kratos have become legends. But how many of these blades, gauntlets, and chains are inspired by real Greek myths? And how do they compare to the weapons used by gods and heroes of old? Mythical weapons of god of war, real or fiction. The blade of Olympus, the sword of the gods. Let's begin with one of the most famous, the Blade of Olympus. In the game, Zeus creates it to defeat the Titans. It's powerful, glowing, and can destroy almost anything. While there isn't a sword with this name in mythology, there are several mythic weapons that play similar roles. Zeus's main weapon was his thunderbolt, created by the Cyclopes. It was powerful enough to win the war against the Titans. Another legendary blade was the harp, a curved sword used by both Cronus and later Perseus. Cronus used it in battle against Uranus, and Perseus used it to defeat Medusa. It had divine origins and was used in heroic quests. So while the Blade of Olympus is unique to the game, it carries the spirit of weapons like the thunderbolt and the harp, tools of victory used by the strongest figures in myth. The claws of Hades, chains of the underworld. These chained weapons steal souls and were used by Hades in the game. In Greek mythology, Hades is not usually shown in battle, but he did possess powerful symbols. One of them is the bident, a two-pronged weapon similar to a trident, often shown in art as his main item. It represents his control over the dead. Hermes, the guide of souls, also carried the caduceus, a staff that helped lead spirits to the underworld. While not a weapon, it shares the idea of soul movement. The claws of Hades combine these elements: control over the souls of the dead and power over the underworld. The Nemean cestus, the gauntlets of the lion. These giant lion-shaped gauntlets are all about strength and raw power. They're inspired by the Nemean lion, a creature from the first labor of Heracles. In myth, Heracles defeated the lion and wore its skin as armor. He's also known for using a massive club, which symbolized his unmatched strength. The gauntlets in the game reflect the strength and might of Heracles, turning the lion's power into a crushing weapon. The Blades of Chaos, the chains of vengeance. These chained blades represent Kratos' past and his anger. They are a symbol of both power and servitude. While they aren't taken directly from mythology, the idea of being bound by chains is a strong theme in Greek stories. Prometheus was bound as punishment for going against the gods. And the image of magical chains appears in stories about divine justice. There's also Hephaestus, the god of fire and metalwork, who created many magical devices and tools. The blades could be seen as something that Hephaestus might forge, enchanted, deadly, and tied to a god's will. The Spear of Destiny, the weapon of control. In Ghost of Sparta, Kratos uses the Spear of Destiny, a weapon of great power. In Greek mythology, many gods and heroes used spears. Athena's spear stood for wisdom and strategy. Ares used one in battle, and Achilles had the Pelion spear, crafted from a sacred tree and known to be unstoppable. The game's spear seems to combine these elements: a divine spear used to strike down enemies and shape fate. The Arms of Sparta, the soldier's memory. These are a spear and shield from Kratos' past as a Spartan warrior. They are historically accurate. Spartans used the dory, spear, and hoplon shield in real battles. This is not fantasy. It's grounded in actual history. These weapons remind us of Kratos' human origins before his journey into the world of gods and monsters. The Bow of Apollo, Flames and Lore. Apollo, the god of the sun, music, and prophecy, did use a bow in myth. Alongside his twin sister Artemis, he was famous for his perfect aim. In the game, his bow has the added power of fire. While that's not part of the original myth, it matches Apollo's role as a radiant and powerful god. So this weapon takes inspiration from real mythology and adds a new twist. The Nemesis Whip, Lightning and Vengeance. This fast and electrified whip is connected to Nemesis, the goddess of balance and justice. In myth, Nemesis was often shown with a sword, a scale, or wings. She punished those who showed too much pride or defied natural order. The game reimagines that divine justice as a whip charged with lightning. A similar energy can be found in Zeus's thunderbolts, quick, unstoppable, and used to correct imbalance. Final verdict: myth and magic collide. So, are the weapons of God of War truly from Greek mythology? Weapons like the arms of Sparta and Apollo's bow are directly tied to historical or mythological sources. Others, like the Blade of Olympus or Claws of Hades, borrow ideas from different stories and mix them into something new. In the end, these weapons feel mythic because they reflect the spirit of the stories that shaped them. That's what makes them powerful, not just in battle but in storytelling.